What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today is indeed Wednesday, which means a new summit is now live here in Motorfest. Y'all want to know what's also great news? We are now out of the Forsberg month, my goodness. Now looking at these summits though, there is going to be a total of 4 of them going up until Season 4. The one thing I have to say right now, guys, we actually have a regular Blue Nitro here, and the next summit is also going to be another Nitro. Funnily enough, I would say a lot of players are most likely not going to get excited for a Blue Thunder Nitro, but you know what, at this point, I am most likely going to thunder myself into a Nitro. Yeah, I probably should give up on these jokes. But after that, though, we're also going to have the Crew Underglow, which shows you a lovely underglow of the Crew Motorfest. Personally, that should probably be a trophy because it doesn't honestly look all that great. And then the final summit is, of course, going to be the Shmee Zenvo. That thing looks amazing. Kind of looking forward to actually getting that card. Love the carbon fiber on it. But the one thing, though, here we are going to have that Blue Nitro, then the lovely Dodge Viper in gold. I would say right now, guys, the rewards in the summits are not that great, which is probably also why a lot of players are most likely not even going to do it. So when looking at the main summit here, we're now going to have 3 regular skills, of course. We're then going to have 6 events all on the Street Tier 2 category. Some of them are going to be with one vehicle, others are going to have a similar card like Toyotas, or we're also going to have 2 Aston Martins. Then besides that, we're then going to have a Buoy Smashing, a Speedtrap, and a Slalom. Now, the funny thing about the Buoy Smashing, guys, is all you're going to have to use on this is a Score Breaker set. If you had that, you can basically mess around and easily get 129k. When it comes to the bow, I would recommend running anything of your choice like the V40R or the WR1. And then for the next skill, though, it is going to be a speed trap. So for this one, I did actually decide to run the lovely Dodge Viper SRT10. Could you run something like the regular Corvette or like the Burning Wheels edition? Most likely also going to be great options for it. Now for this one though, all you will then have to do is basically turn around the second you start the objective, pretty much go around to the end of that said circle, then wait till your nitrous fills all the way up, head all the way towards the circle. Now the trick here, guys, is to actually be in 5th gear around the final corner. After that, all you will then have to do is hit that nitrous and watch out for the traffic. And then for the final skill, though, is going to be a slalom. Now, for this, I'm not going to lie here. These are going to be incredibly easy. Once again, all you have to have is a score breaker set on basically any of your classes, and you're easily going to max out that score without even trying. Now, moving over to the events here, the first one I did want to talk about is going to be the Street Tier 2 one right here that does say Sports. Now, the funny thing about this one, though, is you guys will probably notice which car is going to be picked. Yeah, I think it's kind of giving it away, am I right? I mean, it is, the R34, what a shocker. The Black Panther edition is legit that good. So you guys know what that means? I had to not pick that. I did end up using the 911 Carrera 4S Timeless Edition. Is it going to be the best overall option? Well, probably not, to be honest, but by far not going to be the worst one either. This thing is not only going to have some insane acceleration, but it can turn pretty good. The only thing about it though is the Nissan is most likely going to be a tad faster around the corners. The overall speed is probably going to be fairly similar. And then for the next event though is going to be a Street Tier 2 race with a lovely Toyota of your choice. Now when looking at the leaderboards, you're most likely going to notice a pretty simple pattern. The Liberty Walk edition is basically owning it. Now the funny part about this though is I did want to try out the regular GR Supra just to see if it can do it. Now I'm not saying the GR Supra is going to be better than the Liberty Walk edition, but I did notice right off the bat though that the regular car can easily hold its own. And then for the next event here though is going to be a Street Tier 2 race. Before this one, you actually get to drive the old Toyota Supra. Funny thing is you can't pick any other Supra, so you have to drive this one. I admit right now though, this car is actually going to be pretty dang good, man. Like, for example, when racing this car, you're probably going to notice that it does handle decently well. Is it going to be the fastest Street Tier 2 car out there? Most likely not, only because of the way that it does accelerate. So funny thing is the newer Supra probably would be a bit faster, but luckily the A80 is still going to be pretty dang quick, and on this event, it was actually pretty dang fun. And then moving over to the next race here is going to be, of course, another Street Tier 2 event. Now, for this one, it's going to be with a Grand Tourer. You're most likely going to notice right now, looking at the leaderboard, that the Nissan GTR is obviously the best option. Is there going to be better ones? Well, I mean, the GTR is that good, bro. The Haru Edition specifically is a great car, like not even kidding. The regular Nissan GTR Nismo is the one I did want to try out. This car does seem to handle pretty well, plus it's also going to be fairly quick. The only issue about this race, though, is it is going to be on the racetrack, so do keep in mind it's probably going to be around maybe 6 minutes or so. It's going to be a fairly long event. And then for the next event, though, you will have to pick an Aston Martin of your choice in the Street Tier 2 category. For this one, guys, I would actually recommend trying out the DBS and the V8 Vantage. I don't know why it is, but I do like the way the DBS handles. Like, it is fun. It is also going to be a fairly quick vehicle for the most part. If you are running manual, though, this thing is an 8-speed, so do be prepared to shift a lot. You are most likely going to be bouncing off that rev limiter fairly often. The other thing about this event, though, is there is going to be a fair amount of cuts, which I would say shaving off a few seconds is pretty dang helpful. And then for the final event here, though, you're going to have to run the lovely V8 Vantage S. Funny thing is, I do not see a lot of players run this vehicle on any event whatsoever. And the funniest part about that is the fact that this car is actually pretty good, bro. And guys, I have to admit, you can also find this car pretty dang cheap in real life. I think it's like $30,000 to $40,000 for it. So you know what that means? I'm about to head over to the UK, buy this thing for $30,000 to $40,000, right? Head over to Sid Watch, pick him up, and go to the headquarters of Fix Motorfest. Okay, you know what? I'm getting a bit off track here. Before this event, though, it is going to be around 3 laps with a lot of tight corners, so luckily the V8 isn't terrible in that aspect. The only thing about this, though, is this car can slide a bit with it being, you know, having a big front hood similar to a Viper. Luckily, with a pretty decent build on this car, though, it is going to be fairly decent. Overall, though, guys, I do feel like for the most part, this summit was a pretty fun time. Even though I do feel like a lot of players are most likely not going to want to get on to get a regular Nitro. But hey, it's going to be a new one. If any of you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Let's jump right into this.